My ex-husband stood in front of our entire family at my sister's anniversary party and clinked his glass. His voice was shaky, but his words cut like a blade. "The baby Ashley is carrying," he said, looking around the room, "isn't mine." I'm infertile. Every jaw in the room dropped. Ashley's face turned ghost white. She tried to grab his arm, but Joseph shook her off. Then he looked straight at me. "I love you," he said, like nothing had happened. "Leaving you was the biggest mistake of my life. I'm not going to lose you again." Everyone's eyes turned to me. Some people were already recording on their phones. Ashley was crying. My parents looked like they wanted to melt into the ground. Joseph started walking toward me, his hand reaching out like he expected me to fall into his arms. My hand went straight to my belly, instinctively covering my baby bump. And that was the moment he noticed. His whole face changed. Shock, desperation, confusion. My fiancé Dale stepped up beside me, tall and steady, his presence like a shield. The whole room was frozen, waiting to see what I'd do. I took a deep breath, kept my voice calm, and said, "If you want to talk, it'll only be through lawyers. We're done." Then I turned and walked out, Dale's hand in mine, the entire room buzzing behind us. But to understand how I got to that insane moment, pregnant, engaged, and stronger than ever, I need to take you back to where it all started. To the day my husband told me he didn't want me. He wanted my sister. When Joseph and I first got married, I thought he was my forever. We weren't rich, but we were building a life. I worked long hours at the office, while he studied photography at community college. I covered the bills, the rent, even his tuition. I thought we were a team. We dreamed about kids, about the family we'd raise. When I struggled to get pregnant, I pushed through months of painful IVF treatments. My body changed, my energy drained, but I didn't care. I thought we were in this together, except I started noticing things. Joseph was glued to his phone, double tapping my younger sister, Ashley's bikini photos on Instagram, smiling a little too wide when she stopped by for dinner. Ashley was the golden child, fitness influencer, perfect body, college degree. Everyone adored her. She had that kind of smile that made people lean in. Even my parents bragged about her like she was their only daughter. I brushed off the signs, told myself I was being insecure, until one night, everything shattered. We were sitting on the couch, Netflix playing in the background, when Joseph muted the TV and said, "I need to be honest. I can't keep lying to myself. Your sister is the one I really want." I laughed at first. Thought he was joking, but his face was stone serious. My chest tightened. I managed to whisper, "Then have her." He blinked. "Wait, you're just okay with it. Do you even love me?" "I do," I said, tears burning down my cheeks. "But clearly, my love isn't enough for you. So just take your things and go." That night he left. By morning, he was back only to pack his things. Ashley's hair tie was on his wrist, her lipstick on his neck, her scent on his skin. I stood frozen as he loaded his car with his stuff, my own sister waiting for him outside. Within 24 hours, my mom called me. "Did you hear? Joseph and Ashley are finally together. Aren't you just delighted for them? 7 years of marriage. Gone. Just like that." And the worst part? They weren't even ashamed. I was already broken. I was already empty. But what Joseph and Ashley didn't know was that I had a secret, one I had planned to tell Joseph on his birthday. I was pregnant, and 3 weeks later, I lost the baby. That was the day I hit rock bottom. When Joseph and I first got married, I thought he was my forever. We weren't rich, but we were building a life. I worked long hours at the office, while he studied photography at community college. I covered the bills, the rent, even his tuition. I thought we were a team. We dreamed about kids, about the family we'd raise. When I struggled to get pregnant, I pushed through months of painful IVF treatments. My body changed, My energy drained, but I didn't care. I thought we were in this together. Except, I started noticing things. Joseph was glued to his phone, double tapping my younger sister, Ashley's bikini photos on Instagram. Smiling a little too wide when she stopped by for dinner. Ashley was the golden child. Fitness influencer, perfect body, college degree. Everyone adored her. She had that kind of smile that made people lean in. Even my parents bragged about her, like she was their only daughter. I brushed off the signs, told myself I was being insecure, until one night, everything shattered. We were sitting on the couch, Netflix playing in the background, when Joseph muted the TV and said, "I need to be honest. I can't keep lying to myself. Your sister is the one I really want." I laughed at first, thought he was joking, but his face was stone serious. My chest tightened. I managed to whisper, "Then have a..." He blinked. "Wait, you're just okay with it. Do you even love me?" "I do," I said, tears burning down my cheeks. "But clearly my love isn't enough for you. So just take your things and go." That night, he left. By morning, he was back only to pack his things. Ashley's hair tie was on his wrist, her lipstick on his neck, her scent on his skin. I stood frozen as he loaded his car with his stuff, my own sister waiting for him outside. Within 24 hours, my mom called me. "Did you hear? Joseph and Ashley are finally together. Aren't you just delighted for them? 7 years of marriage. Gone. Just like that. And the worst part, they weren't even ashamed. I was already broken. I was already empty. But what Joseph and Ashley didn't know was that I had a secret. One I had planned to tell Joseph on his birthday. I was pregnant, and 3 weeks later, I lost the baby. That was the day I hit rock bottom. After the miscarriage, my world went dark. I stayed in bed for days. My body felt like a stranger to me. My mind was foggy, and my heart shattered. The man I loved had chosen my sister. My parents acted like it was normal. And now the tiny spark of life I'd carried was gone. I stopped eating properly. My friends stopped calling because I kept saying no to going out. Even going to the grocery store felt impossible. What if I ran into them? What if I saw them smiling, holding hands, maybe even planning the family I'd never have? Every night I'd scroll through Instagram, torturing myself with their posts. Ashley posting couple selfies with Joseph, their soulmate adventures, their gym selfies. My sister wearing the necklace Joseph once bought me. Him commenting heart emojis under her bikini shots. It was sick. And the worst part? My parents loved it. My mom said, "Well, at least Joseph stayed in the family. Isn't that a blessing? A blessing." She called it a blessing. I wanted to scream. Instead, I got quiet. Quieter than I'd ever been in my life. One night, I caught myself in the mirror. My hair was greasy, my skin pale, my body soft from all the stress and crying. I barely recognized the woman staring back at me. Something inside me snapped. I thought, they took everything from me. But I'm still here. They didn't destroy me. Not yet. The next morning, I signed up for a gym membership. I walked in terrified, wearing baggy sweats, my old sneakers, and a shirt that smelled faintly of Joseph's cologne. But I walked in. That was the first victory. The gym became my sanctuary. At first, I could barely jog 5 minutes on the treadmill without wanting to quit. I was sore, sweaty, embarrassed. But every drop of sweat felt like a piece of the old me burning away. And slowly, things changed. My clothes started fitting better. My skin cleared. I wasn't just losing weight. I was gaining confidence. I stopped crying myself to sleep. I stopped checking their Instagram. I started looking at myself in the mirror again, and instead of seeing a broken woman, I saw someone rebuilding. 3 months into my routine, I met him. His name was Dale. He was a trainer at the gym, but he wasn't pushy like the others. He didn't flirt or try to sell me supplements. He just noticed me. One night when I was struggling with the barbell, he walked over. "Need a spot?" He asked with an easy smile. I nodded, nervous. My arms were shaking, but he guided me through the reps. When I racked the bar, he said, "You've got good form. You just don't believe it yet." That line stuck with me. You just don't believe it yet. After that, we'd chat here and there. He asked about my progress, encouraged me, reminded me to hydrate. He became part of my routine without me realizing it. And one day, I caught myself laughing at one of his stupid jokes. Really laughing. The kind of laugh I hadn't felt in months. It scared me. I went home that night and cried. Not because I was sad, but because I felt something I thought was gone forever. Hope. Meanwhile, Joseph and Ashley were spiraling. I didn't know all the details at first, but whispers started reaching me. Ashley wanted a baby. Joseph kept dodging the subject. They were arguing in public. My mom said Ashley seemed moody at family dinners, and Joseph had stopped posting couple photos. I didn't care. At least, I told myself I didn't. But one Sunday morning, I walked into the cafe near the gym and saw them sitting in the corner. Ashley looked furious, whisper yelling at Joseph. He looked tired, defeated, and when his eyes lifted and landed on me, sweaty from my workout, leggings hugging a body I'd worked hard for, his face changed, like he was seeing me for the first time. I didn't stop. I didn't smile. I just ordered my coffee, lifted my chin, and walked past them like they were strangers. But deep down, I knew. Joseph regretted everything, and soon. I'd have proof. The very next week, Joseph showed up at my apartment, not with flowers, not with an apology, but with a secret, and what he told me that night would change everything. When I opened the door that night, I almost didn't recognize him. Joseph looked nothing like the smug, confident man who left me for my sister. His hair was messy, his eyes bloodshot, and he smelled faintly of whiskey. "Can we talk?" he asked. His voice cracked like he hadn't slept in days. My instinct was to slam the door, but curiosity, maybe even pity, made me step aside. He walked in, glanced around my apartment, and froze when he noticed the photos on the wall. Pictures of me smiling at the gym, holding my little nephew, even one of me laughing with Dale. "You look different," he muttered. "Better. Say what you came to say, Joseph," I said, folding my arms. He sat on the couch and buried his face in his hands. "Ashley's pregnant, but..." He looked up, his eyes burning. "The baby isn't mine." For a moment, I couldn't breathe. "Come again," I asked slowly. "I got tested," he said. "I'm infertile. I've been infertile for years. All that time we tried. It was never you. It was me." The words hit me like a train. All the IVF treatments, the injections, the nights I cried myself to sleep, thinking my body was broken. And here he was, confessing that it had never been my fault. I wanted to scream. I wanted to throw something at him. But instead, I whispered, "So who's the father?" His jaw tightened. "She won't tell me, but I think it's one of the guys from her gym brand deals. She's been spending a lot of time with them." I laughed, bitter and sharp. "So let me get this straight. You left your wife for my sister, destroyed me, flaunted your perfect little romance, and now you're here because she cheated on you." His eyes filled with tears. "I made a mistake, a huge mistake. I should never have left you." I felt my stomach twist. This was the moment I used to dream about. Joseph crawling back, realizing what he lost. But now, standing in front of him, I didn't feel longing. I felt nothing but disgust. "You don't get to come back," I said, my voice steady. "Not after everything. Please," he begged. "We can try again. I still love you." I almost laughed in his face. "I don't love you," I said. "Not anymore." And for the first time, I realized it was true. After he left, I sat in silence. My whole body was buzzing. I should have felt victorious, but instead I just felt tired. Later that week, I told Dale everything. We were sitting at a smoothie bar after training, and I spilled the whole story. The infertility, Ashley's pregnancy, Joseph's meltdown. Dale listened quietly, his eyes never leaving mine. When I finished, he reached across the table and squeezed my hand. "You've been through hell," he said softly, "but you're still here, stronger than ever." That says everything. Something about the way he said it made me want to cry. But for once, they weren't sad tears. Meanwhile, Ashley was unraveling. I didn't talk to her directly, but my mom couldn't keep her mouth shut. She called me one night and sighed dramatically. "Your sister's not doing well," she said. "She's hormonal. She's crying all the time. You should really be more supportive." I bit back a laugh. Supportive? She stole my husband, Mom. She didn't steal him. He chose her, Mom said. Like that made it better. That was the moment I realized I couldn't count on my family. They weren't going to protect me. They weren't going to take my side. If I wanted to survive this, I had to stand on my own, and I was ready. A month later, everything exploded. Ashley posted a picture of herself, cradling her baby bump, with the caption, "Can't wait to meet you, little one." Blessed, Joseph commented nothing. 0 likes, 0 support. That silence was louder than any words. Then, 2 weeks later, he showed up at my parents' house during Sunday dinner and dropped the bomb in front of everyone. "The baby isn't mine. I'm infertile." My mom nearly fainted. Ashley screamed at him. My dad told them both to leave, and me. I sat at the table, calm, sipping my water, watching it all burn down. That night, Joseph showed up at my door again. But this time, Dale was there, and the way Joseph looked at Dale, like he was his enemy, told me this story wasn't over. Not even close. When I opened the door that night and saw Joseph standing there, I felt my stomach drop. But before I could say a word, Dale stepped into the hallway behind me. His presence was steady, calm, but his eyes narrowed the second he saw Joseph. "What are you doing here?" Dale asked. Joseph's jaw tightened. "This is between me and my wife." I almost laughed. "Ex-wife Joseph, you made that choice." His eyes flicked to me, then back to Dale. "So what? Now you're playing house with him." Dale didn't flinch. He stepped closer, his voice even but firm. "She doesn't owe you anything. You left. Don't show up drunk making demands." Joseph bristled. His shoulders squared like he wanted to fight. But Dale didn't move, didn't even raise his voice. He just stood there, solid as a wall, while I felt my own strength rising behind him. "This isn't your home," I told Joseph. "Stop coming here." For a moment, I thought he might explode. His face was red, his fist clenched. But then something shifted. His expression cracked. And for the first time, I saw the truth. Desperation. "She lied to me," he said, his voice breaking. "Ashley lied. I gave up everything for her. And now she's carrying someone else's kid. I don't even know who I am anymore." His words hung in the air. I almost felt sorry for him. Almost. But then I remembered the nights I bled from IVF injections, while he flirted with Ashley, the humiliation, the betrayal, the way he walked out without hesitation. "You made your choice," I said coldly. "Now you get to live with it." And with that, I shut the door. For the first time in months, I felt free. Joseph's visits had always left me shaky, but now, with Dale by my side, I wasn't afraid. Dale wrapped his arms around me, and for once, I didn't feel broken. "You don't have to face him alone," he whispered. And that's when I realized Dale wasn't just helping me rebuild my body. He was helping me rebuild my life. Meanwhile, Ashley's perfect little world was collapsing. Rumors spread fast. People whispered about who the real father might be. Screenshots started circulating of Ashley texting another man, someone from her gym brand deals, just like Joseph suspected. But Ashley kept posting like nothing was wrong. fake smiles, fake captions, fake happiness. Then, one night I got a text from an unknown number. "She's been lying to all of you. Meet me tomorrow. I'll show you proof." My hands shook as I read it. The next day, I showed up at the cafe near the gym, and a tall man with tattoos waved me over. He introduced himself as Brandon, one of Ashley's fitness partners. And then he dropped the bomb. Ashley had been sleeping with him for months. The baby, most likely his. He showed me screenshots, photos, even hotel receipts. "She told me she was leaving Joseph," he said, rubbing his forehead. "She said she was gonna start fresh with me. But when she found out she was pregnant, she ghosted me, blocked my number, pretended like I never existed." My jaw dropped. So this was Ashley's game. She didn't just steal my husband. She used him, and when her lies caught up with her, she tried to erase the evidence. A week later, Ashley invited the whole family to a gender reveal party. Balloons, decorations, a cake. Fake perfection on display. But Joseph had had enough. In the middle of the party, he stood up, clinked his glass, and said loudly, "The baby isn't mine. Ashley's been lying to all of you." Gasps filled the room. My mom nearly fainted. Ashley's face went pale. She tried to grab his arm, but Joseph shook her off. Then, to everyone's shock, he looked straight at me. "I should have never left you. I want you back." The entire room went silent. My parents stared at me. Guess whispered. Phones came out, recording. And that's when I felt Dale's hand slip into mine, steady and sure. I stood up, looked Joseph dead in the eye, and said, "If you want to talk, it'll only be through lawyers. We're done." I turned to leave with Dale. But before we could make it out the door, Ashley screamed after me, "You think you've won? You're nothing without me, without us. You'll always be nothing." I stopped, my heart pounding, and slowly turned back to face her, because what Ashley didn't know was that I had one last surprise, and it would destroy everything she thought she had left. Ashley's words echoed in the room like poison. "You'll always be nothing." For a second, the old me, the broken, abandoned me, almost believed her. Almost. But then I looked around the room. I saw Joseph standing there, desperate and exposed. I saw Ashley, shaking with rage, clutching her stomach like her lies could protect her. I saw my parents, embarrassed, ashamed, not knowing where to look. And then I felt Dale's hand in mine, solid, warm, steady. I wasn't nothing, not anymore. A few weeks before that party, I had gone to the doctor for my routine checkup. And that's when I found out something that changed everything. I was pregnant, naturally. No IVF, no drugs, no endless nights of tears, just pregnant. When I first heard the heartbeat, I broke down sobbing in the doctor's office. Not out of fear, but out of pure joy. After everything Joseph put me through. After he made me believe I was broken. It turned out my body was never the problem. The problem had been him. I hadn't told anyone yet, not even Dale. I wanted to wait until I was ready, but standing there, with Ashley screaming and Joseph staring at me like I was his last hope, I knew it was time. I turned slowly, placed a hand on my stomach, and said clearly, so everyone could hear, "You're wrong, Ashley. I already won." The room went dead silent. Gasps rippled through the crowd as the realization spread. Joseph's face went pale, then red, then pale again. His mouth opened and closed, like he wanted to speak, but no sound came out. Ashley's eyes widened in horror. No, you can't." "I can," I said. "I'm pregnant, and this time it's with a man who actually loves me." Dale's eyes widened, tears forming, but then he smiled. The kind of smile that lit up the entire room. He wrapped his arm around me, proud and protective. The reaction was chaos. My mom started crying. My dad stood up in shock, and Ashley screamed, knocking over her champagne glass. "This isn't fair," she shrieked. "She doesn't deserve this. I'm the one who—" Her voice broke, and for the first time, I saw her not as my glamorous, untouchable sister, but as a scared, cornered child whose lies had finally caught up to her. Joseph turned toward me, desperation pouring off him. "Please just hear me out. I still love you. We can raise this baby together. Forget Ashley. She was a mistake." I shook my head slowly. "You don't get it, Joseph. You were the mistake, and I'll never make it again." From that day forward, things changed fast. Ashley's reputation crumbled. Brandon, the guy she'd been sneaking around with, leaked everything. Screenshots, texts, hotel receipts. Her sponsorship deals dropped her one by one. People stopped seeing her as the golden girl and started calling her a liar. Joseph tried to play the victim, but no one bought it. He'd betrayed me, wasted years of my life, and now everyone knew the truth. He wasn't a victim. He was just weak. My parents tried to smooth things over, begging me to forgive Ashley, begging me to forgive Joseph. But for once, I didn't bend. I chose myself. As my belly grew, so did my happiness. Dale was by my side every step of the way. Doctor's visits, late-night cravings, even reading parenting books out loud just to make me laugh. He never tried to replace what I'd lost. Instead, he built something new with me, something real. One night, while we were walking home from the gym, he stopped under the streetlight, got down on one knee, and asked me to marry him. I didn't even let him finish his speech before blurting out, "Yes!" And for the first time in years, I wasn't just surviving, I was living. The day of our wedding, Joseph tried to show up. He stood outside the venue in a wrinkled suit, holding a bouquet of roses. But Dale's friends, big guys from the gym, blocked him at the door. "You're not welcome here," they told him. And I heard later that as we said our vows inside, Joseph stood on the sidewalk watching, realizing he had lost me forever. The night my son was born, I held him in my arms and cried, not out of pain, but out of gratitude. Gratitude that I didn't give up. Gratitude that I had walked through fire and come out stronger. Gratitude that I had found love, not in Joseph, not in my family's approval, but in myself first. Ashley never apologized. Not once. But it didn't matter anymore. She was stuck in the ruins of her own lies, and I was too busy living a life she could never touch. So when people ask me if I regret what happened, if I wish Joseph never left me for my sister, I say no, because losing him was the best thing that ever happened to me. It broke me, yes, but it also rebuilt me. It led me to Dale, to my son, to a life that's more beautiful than anything I ever dreamed of. And if Joseph and Ashley ever think about me now, I hope they remember the day I walked out of that party, head high, hand in hand with the man who truly loved me, because that was the day I stopped being their victim and became the author of my own story.